we're all good to go here. Holidays are coming.
Oh yeah, it's just this time of year we get all this time off and everything. It's just nice not being at work sometimes. Of course, I'm the type that when I have time off that I'm worried about work, I'll come back to.
Yeah, so this time of the year it's quiet for you, huh?
Yeah, it's quiet for us because everyone's all going off to this training or that training, or they're on a vacation. You know, everyone's trying to get their vacation hours in before the end of the year, which, depending on, I guess, what department you're in, that's the end of November or the end of December. So it's just, everything slows down.
It's not a bad thing.
No, not a bad thing at all. It's just, how to fill the time. Which I should be used to. My old job used to be just, I used to call it one long break with occasional phone calls or customers.
Yeah, I did a bunch of training on a new computer program we're going to be using, and we're running on January 4th, and now I did all that, and now I'm like, I'm going to forget everything.
Yeah, I hate that kind of training. If I'm not like hands-on, I'm not going to remember it.
Hello. I'm relying on you, both of you tonight.
Okay. You made it back in one piece, and you weren't snowed in somewhere.
No snow in Texas.
Okay, good. You choose one of the few parts of the country that didn't have snow.
Yeah, not here either, where I am. And not where you are either.
No,
right?
But barely. We have snow up in the hills. So it's only like, if you go up 500 feet up, you snow.
Oh, wow.
We only had like 34 degrees, 36 degrees or something like that this morning, or 34, so we were close.
Strangely, in southern Illinois, we had like mid-50s and it's raining.
Yeah, midday we had 60, but it started out just a few degrees above freezing this morning. So it was, we've had like a couple of degrees, like 35 or 36 or something like that.
I think it's going to drop in tomorrow.
Yeah, so overnight we've been close to freezing. So the hills have been all frosty. Not so much this time, it was only the top of the hills, but a few years ago we had...
Hey, Dorgram, hey, Gaetano. What? Yeah, there's not a big fight over comeliness here, Gaetano. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know what you mean. That's all right. I mean, that's when no one's going to win. Hey, good to see everyone.
Yeah, that was kind of...
Yes, I could make one. It's simple. I just bring... Oh, hey, well, I could bring Tim on Sunday,
and at the same time, and we will.
Yeah, and Tim will go at it. And I'll just sit there with as the referee. If you want that entertainment.
Yep.
Yeah. What's up there, Will? We can do that.
Yep. We don't even need confidence for that.
No. All right.
But I'm on the comeliness is unnecessarily complicated side.
Thus begins 5 streams in 5 days.
Yep. But the discussion they had on perception was very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I've been kind of keen wanting to solve it somehow, and in my case,
it seems like it's like the stat that 99% of the people use 90% of the time. That's all I hear on stream.
Yeah,
especially
and
perception.
First of all, I made it. It's not a skill; it's an innate ability. Everybody has it, so you don't have to pay for it. But thinking to make it into some other thing that you can be better or worse at it, so to speak. That would be kind
Hype
of fun.
already.
Oh wow, you haven't even come on yet. Yep, I have actually prepped some for today, so yep.
Okay. Forgot something. Now, I could have sworn I changed that ad.
Of the many ancient civilizations of the world,
Huh.
none can
Well,
surpass the grand majesty.
Sorry, Chuck, if you're on, you're stuck with this
One of the
one for
oldest and
tonight.
oldest lasting civilizations in the
Gosh,
history of the
changed.
world, going back over
My
4,000
problem with
years.
5e
Roller
perception
Games is proud to
is
announce our
that
latest Mythos series project.
not all kinds of
the
perception
Codex
should be
Sonorum.
equal.
Yeah,
The Codex Sonorum covers the
I agree
mind
on
No,
that.
but I
profound
do
wonders
that
of
that some
prehistoric
creatures
and
like
medieval
the ones that have
historic
scent, for
and
instance,
mythical.
are very
Yeah.
good at smelling.
Yeah.
They get advantage
Yeah.
on and the
And
same
that's
thing with
great.
hearing and
Chinese
stuff like that.
creatures
So you can have
and over
senses that gives you
140 deities
either
and heroes.
advantage or
The Codex
disadvantage,
Sonorum
but that's
is filled
tied
with
to
monsters,
who
gods,
you are
warriors,
biologically or
and
whatever
I'm just wondering
magical.
if
truly
Yeah.
some
told in a narrative true to Chinese
characters should start out
It
disadvantaged.
introduces the
yeah, we
basic
can have this ahead of
Chinese
time. It's not like trust me.
That's a talk
and
for
the
another
many
time.
legends
I am relying on Anna and Mike on this one tonight.
Ancient
I got some
Yes.
ideas, but it's just like
Yep.
remember I've been away.
and fortune
And
tellers.
Gaita,
Even
bye,
enchanted charms
Gaita.
are explored
Well,
as well.
I've relied on you so many
Players can
times,
live out
Jay.
their
So
characters
we
in
need
cool.
to. This is good
Set in
to
popular
return the
Chinese
favor.
fantasy
I
here.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
like wuxia
But I'll come up with some
and more,
ideas.
while within
Oh,
a
sure.
pseudo
Some.
historical setting.
A little here and
and
there.
Let's
brought
see.
to
I
life
need
by
to
the castle
log into
keeper
chat
or
here
game
too.
master.
So yeah.
Researched and written by Brian.
I agree. And I said that there's in old school. There's no need for perception. I use it's kind of like, well, use your intelligence, use your wisdom skill, and you roll against it. And you can see I do that all the time in my games, which is just the way I
So,
do it. There's nothing wrong.
I'm
with
running a 5e game, and I'm running a Beckme game.
Oh,
And it is so hard to switch gears to
Oh,
that, thinking that perception is not something you roll necessarily. It's just
Something you
encounters
do.
happen to you or
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
No.
still use will saves and fortitude saves and stuff in my 5e. I
Yeah,
say that, but
Yeah.
But what I can do in perception is that if it's like an up in your face, I will use dexterity as the base for
Georgia,
perception
that'll work
rather than
too.
wisdom. And so I might change different things. You can use a different stat as your base for your perception.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Dead on.
Yep.
And that's what I do. It's
Yeah.
usually intelligence and wisdom, but it could be something else for
Yeah,
some
it depends
reason.
exactly. It depends on for
Yeah.
instance, if it is to avoid a trap that is based on physics or something like that someone ought to see, then it might be an
Exactly.
intelligence check. If it's to see something that's hidden somewhere, it might be wisdom. If it's something that comes and jumps on you and an ambush, you might be a dexterity ability that you put
I'm
in those.
really liking going back to the surprise checks. There's
Well,
just
that's
a real
basically one
nice
of the
elegance to it.
Yeah, that's what I use perception for in a lot of senses, or as a surprise check, so to speak, But it would be kind of cool if you had a general ability, because a little bit is like when you get old and wise, then you should be surprised more often than when you're younger and dumb. So
Here comes Blue Box. So I'll go to the main screen now, and just so we get their raid in there. So, and I'll even reset it. What's up, John? So guess what, John? All we're talking about now is perception and comeliness, man. You got us like rolled here. Look at that. All right, so
Yep.
I have my Raider chat set. I don't know
yeah,
if you can see
it's
it.
like being rickrolled in D&D
Welcome
It's
terms.
coming
here.
into me. Yeah, it's coming in as
Okay.
Raider chat.
Loveless.
Oh
That's
man, we started something tonight here. So, but welcome everyone.
Yeah,
Uh,
John started.
John started it, and we're gonna finish it.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
good evening.
Yeah.
Here, I'll hit you re-up with that raid in. There you go. So oh, this is pretty neat. So anyone who came in on the raid, you can see it on my box on my channel. You can't see it on yours. It says Raider from Blue Box. So I got Mystical Moose. I'm assuming that's going to stay and show on the vid as well, which is neat. So thanks a lot for the raid in. But we're having a good discussion already. But tonight, please note, I barely slept 2 nights in a row. I can't sleep when I'm away from home. So it's just I'm like, and plus I got five streams in 5 days. I mean, why make it easy on myself? So.
Mhm.
5 for 5.
5 for 5. Yeah,
It's
that's
like an
pretty neat,
Arby's
that
deal.
thing. So it's good to see everyone. I got Anna and Mike with me. And, we here, 10 seconds. We didn't even do this. We didn't even do the entry ad here. See, I'm losing my mind here. We'll do it for 10 seconds. 5, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. There we go. Greyhawk. Where to campaign in next? Woohoo! Be a fun discussion. Now, Dale, are you on yet? I'm working through the pain. I am paining it. But then yeah, so. Oh, Kai, thanks, man, for hopping that up there. Woohoo! Really close. I don't think we're going to get it in time. It's going to be close, but I don't think we're going to get it. Oh!
He knows how to instigate it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Bing, 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 bing. So we can talk about that. We're going to talk about that, Dorgrim. We're going to talk about all these great locations. And what? Oh, Fuzz, thanks. Cranking it up here on. We got our giveaways tonight. We're going to do some classic D&D reprints. I got my giveaways for the what do we call it? Holiday Cheer Fantasy Mapping Show, right? Coming up on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
We got Stephen Chenault on, and is it Edwin? I think it's Edwin from.
I think. Yeah.
Edwin from Frog Guy, and Alyssa Faden, of course, and a lot of other great people. Hey, Orchid. So we're really excited about this, and we get a BattleTech game Saturday morning, a D&D game Thursday night, and then Gabbard on Sunday to finish it up. And I am off of work for the rest of the year. I'm off till January 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. How was our trip to the Bandit Kingdoms? It was okay. It's over.
Bandit Kingdoms.
It's over. I'm done. 3 days in Texas was enough. 3 days in Temple, Texas.
Yep. Thank you, Gautano.
Good to see everyone.
Yep.
Hey, Josh. Oh, man. You guys are unbelievably. All right. We're doubling it now.
Wow.
We're going to do two. Wow. We'll do two sets of giveaways of classic reprints now for everyone. All right. Very cool. Wanted to say another thank you. I'm going to throw this up on the screen because this is before I pass out here. This was every Twitch channel gets this now, and let me see if I can do this. Oh, of course I hit a Tim wrong button.
Yeah, you must have misprogrammed your.
I could have sworn that was
whatever
me.
you press there will be his.
Twitch recap for the year. All right, this is really neat. So as you can see, it even shows the 4 channels I watched the most, which is in order: Blue Box 1, Mike Disney 2, Darling Creepshow 3, and Troller Games 4, which I think is really cool. So, the Tim button is never. I agree. The Tim button's never the wrong button. That's 100%. And look at the top emote over here. The wrong button is the number 2 emote on the channel.
The turtle is the number 1.
The turtle's number 1 over the year.
Yep.
D's Nuts is 3rd. Josh, who said, don't ever get the D's Nuts one. Oh, my gosh. Yes. So there you go. So some great, unbelievable stats. Just wanted to show these, man. We're just 17 million channel points given out. All great things. Almost 45,000 viewer hours watched. Keep them rolling there, everyone. Just wanted to show that and share that. It was this is a really neat thing, and even if you're a small streamer, be proud of what you did. Be proud of your work. There's nothing wrong with that. So, all right, Mike. This topic was yours. How'd you come up with the idea?
Well, I was trying to think of something that incorporates maps, and then I let my mind go blank, and then I tried to figure out what we could talk about in a general sense, and I figured, okay, let's just talk about stuff.
You came up with 3 awesome topics, and it was so hard. I could have chosen all 3 we need to. So they were fantastic. But this one spoke to me the most. That's why I suggested that we go with this one.
Make one topic. I have to brainstorm two or three because
Mhm.
I'm always worried my first idea won't be the best.
No, they were all good.
Yeah.
This is the one, though, I think that Anna was most excited about.
Well, for the moment, yes, they spoke to me now. If you asked me a month ago or two, I
Right.
would have picked one of the other ones, and soon I will probably pick one of the other ones too. But this one spoke to me, and we're going
Yeah.
to keep those secret because I'm sure we get back to them soon. So yeah.
Right.
But the this one
David.
spoke to me right now, so to speak. So
Okay.
yeah.
Right, and the funny thing was that Alan Grohe, who's kind of attached on that thing, was like, "This was the least. I think it was his least favorite of the three." I was like, "Well, sorry,
Well,
Alan, you're not on the show."
But
So
I also think that it depends on your play style a little bit.
that
So
is
so
true.
yeah, I think this one
True.
because last week we had the module Q&A and stuff, and that is something
Yeah.
that ties in very close to one other. If you play modules a lot, that is one
Yeah.
like super cool.
Yeah.
This topic is, I think, for the other end of the spectrum. This is for homebrewers.
Okay.
To
That's
have
a good way of
topic
putting
that's
it.
yeah that's it kind of speaks to homebrewers more than
Yeah.
module players in
Agreed.
the yeah.
Agreed,
And
100%.
for me,
100% agreed.
I'm someone who tends to jump around the map a lot and
Yeah.
start new campaigns and everything. So it's not easy for me to
Mm-hmm.
figure out where I want to campaign next. In fact, lots of times I just keep going back to the same well, like
Yeah.
the city of
Yeah.
Greyhawk or whatever,
So
because of the modules.
yeah. Do you when you choose a location, do you choose a location for one adventure in the campaign, or do you choose one for basic most of the campaign, so to speak?
The city Greyhawk is like I said, the one I use the most often. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if I've ever based a campaign around another module.
Yeah.
I am looking for some of my ones I
Not
had
even
out.
Mar Castle. Like, I ran Mar Castle, but like I didn't run Duchy of Ernst.
Yeah.
Mike's
Anything.
next one, though, is based
So
in the area of the Doom Grinder. Just
Mm-hmm.
kidding.
well,
Well, it's
yeah,
not too far
exactly.
from the
If
city.
you
Yeah.
said, all right, I'm going to run everything within, 300 miles of the Duchy of Ernst, then
Yeah.
Doom Grinder's on your list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, a lot, and there's, I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this, and wow, thank you all for a level 4 hype train right off the start. That is so wonderful. I really appreciate it. I'm going to say this, that
Yeah.
DMs and players parallel themselves. At least mine do. Yeah, that's a good idea too, Dark Elf Twilight. They get bored and want to try out drastic changes. So Will said he goes from the right to the left, north to the south, all over the map. Look at me. Altamira, Greyhawk, Hardby, Vesby Forest, Narwell, Shieldlands, right? No eastern side of the map, though, sorry. But all over the place when we do, and we bounce around. My players, 70 player characters, some of them have. Because they're all over the place. But there's, thank you, David Keith. There's nothing wrong with that, but just some people need that. They want to try different things. They want to experience different things, and I think that's what the discussion how we're going to get this discussion tonight.
Yep.
We're going to talk about some of them. So
and Dark Elf Twilight, that's exactly what I did. I started my latest campaign in Shieldlands behind enemy lines because I wanted that nervous edge kind of feel right away, so to speak. I wanted to scare and spook the players. Yeah, to not feel secure even from the start, so to speak.
And that's the wonderful thing is that, and I hear this all the time. I know you all do, if you're on Facebook especially. Two things. I don't want to ruin the canon of Greyhawk with my campaign. That's the wrong point. That's the wrong thought right off the bat because you're creating your own personal canon, personal source. Two, that area of the map is too crowded. I want to go somewhere where no one's been before. For the most part, I want to create like something, that's, in my own little bubble. And I think that is in reverse wrong because you want to draw on references and published sources and pull in an NPC here and there and pull in an idea or a group like the Seekers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so let's chat up some of these ideas and we'll look at everyone out here too as well and see what places you come up with. So Anna, I know Dark Elf started it off here with saying something about the evil lands, and I know your current campaign is running.
Yeah, my current campaign is set in Shield Lands, but I will come back to it because I talked about that one before. So if we have more time at the end, I'm going to fill in the campaign arc. But I have 2 campaign arcs that I've researched, future ones that I'm looking into, that I'm researching for future campaigns that I'm going to talk about as examples, and then I have a couple of other
So
ideas
you're not
that I
wish
haven't.
listing, you're actually developing.
Oh yeah,
your
these
ideas.
are
Okay.
future campaign ideas, and I'm
awesome.
going to start. So I
Great.
have an Elven arc, the first one, an Elven campaign. Is I'm thinking about that one. I haven't
That's
run an
one on
Elven
my
campaign
list,
in for a long time, so I'm thinking
Let's
about.
talk about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
great.
have think about an Elven campaign starting from low to high to extreme, like a 0 to 20 level. So you can go the whole way up to godhood almost. Meaning, at least I wanted to in this early stage, I want to take height so I can go the full length if it turns out to be a success and the players like it and we want to stick with it for several years. So I want to the first stage of the campaign is set in the southern part of Selene and Sus, near, and Jay gonna love it for this, near Carwood and Altamira, somewhere around Jay's home area.
Look at all these areas here.
Yes, exactly. That's the area I want to start with for several reasons. I call the first one Probe the Sus. That's the first stage of the campaign. And these are low-level characters, the elves. So they are basically out on their rookie mission, and that is to simply check the eastern shore of the Jewel River for humanoid activity and stuff like that. It's an exploration kind of hex crawly overland campaign into the Sus, and you can either run it as a walk through the forest kind of campaign, or you can simply say you take canoes or little boats and you go along the tributaries of the Jewel and you go probe into the forest to see what's there. Meaning, are we facing an Orcish invasion, or are the orcs hundreds of miles away? And then you can, this is kind of an interesting way you can have exploration, small mini dungeon adventures, fey creatures, humanoid skirmishing, and a little bit of scariness, so to speak, but not over the top. So I'm thinking from like level 2, 3 to maybe 5, 6 or something like that. So you don't go far from home. You can go a day and back again, or camp on the safe side of the river and then go over on the other one, a little bit depending back and forth, or find an elevated spot and hide up in a tree and look for smoke signals and see for or that there's a lot of possibilities you can play with in as a first part of the arc, so to speak. That's the mission of getting your feet wet, so to speak. Have your first battles with your first orcs and some of that stuff. You meet some little fake creatures and some other curiosities and stuff in the Sus Forest. And then
fake creatures, fading lands. Yeah, just like Tim said.
Yep. So that will be the first arc, but then I want to move it up several notches, so to speak, because the end goal I'm not looking to fight the Turushmak or the Orcish Pomar yet, so to speak. That might be an end, but then I want to take it. Rarely I normally stay in one area, but for change and fun, I'm looking at moving it over into the Sheldamar Valley. They're still the same characters. They're still kind of employed by the Instad and the Selene realm and stuff, and get missions and to do, but it's a little bit loose. We're talking elves here, so no formal military units in that sense. It's more like, you will come and help out and stuff. And so then I will move it to the dim forest. There is an elven realm of Arveth. That's what I call it in my campaign. I think it's the term they used in Living Greyhawk. There you go. And that's an elven realm that has been decimated due to the war with the giants and the drow and
Sylvan, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I look at it slightly different
that's
than
right.
you do.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit different. But so there have meaning they've been decimated by war and stuff. So they will ask for help from Selene and Selenian needs to send some of their best for like a mid-level training mission, so to speak. And that is to go up and check the borders of the Valley of the Mage. There's been some activities and stuff. So you go up the valley, and the first round of this, you are just the support troops. You are sending support to the guys and girls that are up there doing the actual border watch. And you go up there, and then you can have some skirmish games, some more exploration, and some stuff. And then they go up there, and there might be whatever you want to happen, so to speak, from monsters and stuff, but more like a real wilderness adventure, so to speak. We up in the mountains, and some of the extreme elements and stuff like that too that you can have. And then comes into the high level play as the third, Into the Veil, and that is then you get a probe to figure out what happens. You can play out various things. Someone gets kidnapped from someone comes from in the Veil and steals some at the border, make an attack or something like that, and Into the Veil, and to figure out what's going on. And it's basically just a probing mission to begin with. It's like a recon mission. You go in there to find out the stuff, and then you can play out. You can have to, meaning I want to figure out who runs the Veil, who lives there, who runs it. I haven't decided yet, meaning I have some ideas, and meaning, is it a great kingdom expat like in some of the lore we have? Is it an Urflan cultist survivors from back then, evil Urflan cults? Is it an old elven sect from long
That'd
ancient
be a nice
times
reveal.
that hides over? Or maybe Vecna has something to do with it. Maybe
Oh, no.
he's still around in one way, shape, or form, so to speak. Those are some of the ideas I'm toying with. That's kind of an elven arc campaign for me that I'm thinking of, so to speak, to tie it up. And
Nice.
2 locations, elven themed, and probably elven or half elven characters through and through.
That's cool. So how about you, Mike, on the Elven?
Yeah, so my thinking on playing an all Elven campaign, it's something I desire to do, but I've never really pulled the trigger lately. I did try to do it a long time ago. That's why I made that old Elven map on Canvas that I did to
Yes.
Anna.
Yeah,
But
that's
that
awesome.
was a campaign that I was setting like 2,000 years in the past, right?
Yep.
But if I want to do something that's contemporary, Selene, of course, is very tempting. I'm not sure I would do anything differently than what Anna just said, although I'm kind of keen to get into the politics of it. Maybe get the Duchy of Ulick involved, some clan squabbling, maybe Game of Thrones it, but for elves kind of thing.
It's always a good idea.
Yeah. And because it's Selene, and because of their politics of being isolationist, it kind of forces you to stay put in a way in that area. I wouldn't be off running around, necessarily, just kind of sticking to the woods and killing elves, maybe keeping an eye on the Temple of Elemental Evil. I don't know. But my other all Elven campaign, I thought, or maybe partial Elven campaign, is Grandwood. Because I liked the thought of running a campaign where everyone's outlaws, hiding out in the woods. So you can have your human woodsmen, you have your elves, half elves. Home base is the forest, and you just scratch out a living, fighting against the oppressors, the Erdians. I think that's a real simple, elegant campaign design. You're basically the bandits. You can set up the ambushes and whatnot.
It's a little bit Robin Hood style in a way, or something like that.
And hugely. And the only adventure that's out here is the 9. The Carlos right?
You'd have to create everything from scratch that you don't have from like that.
A resource management part of would be part of the campaign. You start out poor and you have to kind of steal, borrow, and beg. Yeah.
yeah, you'd be adopting, some
Hmm.
woodsman families and things, and just trying to provide for them, and all your missions are very altruistic, I guess, in a way. You have a common enemy.
I
Yeah,
just want, yeah,
just real easy.
yeah, that sounds awesome. I just want to answer, have a comment to Sopiak I'm sorry if I ruined
Yeah.
it the way
Feywild?
you say. Yeah, exactly, Feywild. I run with Feywild. That to me, I use that. I love the
Yeah.
idea of Feywild, so I'm definitely using that a lot, so to speak. And Selene, the Sus Forest and Selene that goes like a Fey all the way up from Vesvi
good.
Forest all the way down to the Sus. There's like a Fey for the Luna and stuff, and it's kind of the part of it is like good aligned Fey, the light Fey and the dark Fey, and the Sus is like a dark Fey. So it goes back and forth a little bit. So it depends on who lives there, but it's
Yeah.
Fey incursion. That's one of the reasons I have it, that the Selene was actually established where it was established, because you have the Fey connection.
I love that phase business, although myself, I would be very tempted to make it like Silmarillion elves.
Mm-hmm.
These really high elves, these gray elves that are like powerful and think they're
Yep.
better than everyone else. And
Yeah.
if they find a human, coming into their land, they're gonna, you know, show them who's boss.
Yep.
And of all of us, I have the most developed Selene campaign there is, with
How
Mm-hmm.
about
10
that?
noble houses and a dozen more lesser houses
Yep.
all on the map, and the
Mhm.
Selene Sus Forest Night's Watch, well before the Knights of Luna were ever formed. Adventures concerning
Knights of Luna.
the Hateful Wars and all sorts of other fun stuff
Yeah.
going on. But and
Yep.
it ties into reveal. But that has
Mhm.
been going on since 1980, before there was anything written up anyway. So
As an
Yeah.
aside, I would also be doing an all elf campaign. I think would give me a nice opportunity to explore the pantheon a little more,
yeah,
Mhm.
because I think most my players, if they know anything at all about D&D pantheons, they only know Corellon.
really.
Pantheon.
See,
Yep.
that's my guy. That we use Hanali Selenil, Airdrie Fania, Rilafane Ralathil,
Yep.
Labrys Enerith, all of them.
Yep.
There's no reason
Solnor
to
Philander, all of
dig
them.
deeper
Yep.
than that
Mhm.
unless
Wow.
you're playing an elven themed
Yeah, I did an
campaign, I
Elven
think.
campaign back in late second edition, early third. No, it was second edition. We played, and I haven't touched it since. So I really want to go back, and I haven't developed Selene much. So I really this will be for me a probing campaign where I kind of start to lay the groundworks for more kind of. That's why, and also I want to stay out of, unusually for me, but I want to stay out of big politics in this campaign with an Elven campaign. I want to be a little bit more feet on the ground with it. So I want to, at least in the beginning, I won't stay up. At the end, I tend to always fall into that pitfall. So
Hey Rex, if you want to see my campaign write-ups, all you have to do is go to Greyhawkery.
Greyhawk,
There's
they're all there.
kinds of posts on the Sea Princes there.
Bones, I put up my stats too. They're on and thank you for being in my top. What was I, number 3 for you? Which I really appreciated. So for me, where would I go to expand elves? The place that we least adventure that we have a campaign set, and that's the Vespi Forest. I have 2 groups in the Vespi Forest, and there's a lot of elves, and that is the Retriever's Grove and the Defiled Glades, right? We have this. We have a group of mostly Druid class, but there are some others in here, lots of elves.
Yeah.
1 or 2 of them are from the Elven realm of the Timeless Tree, where the Grey Elves are, and then we have the Order of Ulick way up here in the Beastman Forest, run by Bill's character Alanor Moonchild, another Sylvan Elf. I would expand on them, do a new first level campaign somewhere, maybe center it in High Folk this time to start, because we really never did any High Folk adventuring. I know Dungeon Meister did a lot, and I could pull some of the resources that he did with that in the Valley of the High Folk, and maybe just expand, because there's a lot of discussion on these passes up here, Anna, but that's just an idea, as far as
I've done a lot of the superficial overview development of the Elven Vesvi realm, Selene, Veluna, and High Folk and stuff, but I haven't gone down to the weeds yet, and that's why I wanted to run an Elven campaign, so I can kind of tie together build the undergrowth, so to speak, below the big politics at the top.
I purposefully kind of mentally stay away from the Vesby Forest because I'm too tempted then to get into IU's
Yes,
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to do Lord of the Rings, yeah, I mentioned Silmarillion earlier, but I would just be very Lord of the Rings at that point.
Yeah,
Thisbe versus IU's.
And the same thing, because IU's is the main enemy in this campaign. I don't want him to be the main villain in the next campaign. So that's why I want to go somewhere else. So yeah.
So David Leonard just put something. I think you just discussed. You just talked about Gitano's campaign, which is almost as long as mine. Right, a Dullstrand campaign focusing on sea barons and lordship conflict and brotherhood schemes, incorporating South Province and Sundhi politics. I know that Gitano's big on that. So that sounds like a fun one there. I got one that's further back that I want to address. That also that I don't want him to think that we skipped him. Yeah, I really like High Folk, but that's cool, David. On that,
I had some players that were exiled from High Folk.
Oh, okay.
That's I the only reason I bring that up is because High Folk's supposed to be a nice place to live.
And these are the bad guys who took over everything, right? Those guys.
It's just my players. they got exiled. They were offended. They're like, "What? You're throwing us out? You're not going to try to arrest us?"
We have people banned from Hardby. Yeah, we've had. Yeah, so I understand that. Players ruin everything, don't they? So this question, it is. That's exactly it, Rob. And that's what I was thinking. If I were to do a new level of firsts, I may explore this. I may explore the pass up here, and then eventually tie it into the other groups up here, because that's what I'm trying to do. And another one we'll discuss. So, all right, this question, I don't know how to answer this. So I'm going to, but Doc asked a question. I don't want him to think that we just ignored it. Are there any areas where you might consider venturing to a place like a non-Greyhawk campaign? Something like Patolis? And for me, no. Because I've dedicated my entire life to Greyhawk. Doc, I don't know if anyone... Mike, I know, bounces around a bit and does Forgotten Realms and other things. But
I'm currently running Spelljammer.
Right.
With a Forgotten Realms bent, and I'm playing in Forgotten Realms, and I'm running Mystara.
Oh, wow.
So, I'm kind of on a Greyhawk break, I guess you could say.
And for me, Saturday morning, once in a blue moon, we still have our 35-year-old BattleTech campaign that we're playing. And we're going to continue that on Saturday morning. We play that once in a blue moon. So I have that as my secondary getaway from Greyhawk. And then if I want to really get away from Greyhawk, Doc, I let Tim beat me up a bit when he DMs in his City State Invincible Overlord campaign.
There you go.
Yes. How about you, Adam?
I wouldn't run anything outside Greyhawk unless it's the other planes, but that's still part of my Greyhawk campaign, and it's still tied into Greyhawk because. But we've been to Sigil and we've been to the Abyss and Hell and the Outlands and stuff like that. So occasionally, and the Astral Plane and Feywild and stuff like that, Ethereal Plane and Plane of Shadow and stuff. But those are kind of border realms, and it ties into my Greyhawk campaign. So I wouldn't go to another campaign of Forgotten Realms for anything. No, not when I run it, because to me, the setting is essential. I can switch rule sets, and I have done so, and I might do so again. Now I'm actually inventing my own version of 5e, basically. So I switch out rules that but not setting. That's key to me. Rules are secondary, setting is primary, so to speak. So I don't switch out. That will be Greyhawk forever for me.
Yeah, and same here.
Running the game. Yeah.
Because the minute I stop doing Greyhawk, I'm going to have to hear about Robert Wardall again. I don't want to do that ever. Right?
Yeah. So you have to stick with it now.
I have to stick with it. Yep. So all right. So Dullstrand, and so we're looking at down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like Mama Jamba as far as sea-based campaigning goes, right? Down here, Lordship of the Isles and all, and
Dullstrand, yeah.
Yeah. When you get Sea Barons and Lordship and in the coastal cities, that's definitely
I was thinking.
Whoops. It would be nice if I put the map up.
Like I've run a lot of Sea Princess campaigns, but down there, the Sea Princess is like it. Keelan, while they do have a navy and stuff like that, I rarely utilize it. But if you're over there in the east, there's a lot of seafaring countries.
Yeah. Absolutely. And for me, it's Woolly Bay and the Slavers' Piracy, as you saw Thursday and Saturday nights. Very limited. I don't. This is like flotillas out here, right? you know, with
Yeah.
these with
But
this
I can
area.
also think that Dullstrand can be a really cool place if you want to have a place to start, because it's a little bit like an island in itself, because there's like wilderness around it. So you have like a town or a small city as your base. So you can start out low and you can have like the local little thugs or things that happens in the port and stuff. And it's still kind of a secure home base, and they can stay in the home base. And then as they level up and get ready, then they go on a ship and you send them off to somewhere. So it's kind of, if you want to have a home base, a place like Dullstrand can be interesting, because it's by name definition, it's kind of dull by itself, meaning it's a perfect little breeding ground for 0 first level up to like 3rd level or 4th level. You can have little petty things happening, meaning you can chase around the
I
giant
can't
rats and
say
then
I've
yeah,
never ran anything out of Dullstrand.
So
me neither. But
is it
it's one
a
of
free
these.
city, Anna?
Yeah, it's yeah. After the wars, it struck up on its own, so to speak.
What was
When
it
as
before?
it was part of Great Kingdom, I think. Yeah.
It was
So
part.
when
It was
Great
part
Kingdom,
of the South
yeah.
Sunday or South Province or.
Well, yeah, or something. I'm not
Okay.
really sure. I think it was maybe part. I'm not sure who ruled it before, but I think it was
Okay.
part of the Great Kingdom, and then it was one of these leftover places.
Okay.
That when the
I
Great
think
Kingdom,
it's the Great Kingdom's port of call for launching an invasion of the Lordship of the Isles.
yeah.
Okay.
And then when Great Kingdom fell
remember.
apart, they were kind of just left over, so to speak, and now fend for themselves. So it is kind of, and since they don't have much connection, they have the in Sundi and stuff, so you can kind of go there. And also you have the swamp across the hills, so you have a little bit of wilderness, you have the ocean, and a safe home base, so to speak. You can go low level, and then you can kind of go out in the world.
Vassal
so
state of the Sea Barons, David
Yeah.
said. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still sore that the Sea Barons have nothing from that resource topic we had, where the Sea Barons, their only resource is naval technology. Like, come on, they gotta have something more going for them.
At least they have fish. They should have
and
stuff
fish,
like
apparently.
that.
Yeah, probably fish.
Sea Barons way up here. So, and you may say to yourself, "Well, I don't want to adventure here. It's not that big." Well, yeah, it is. Look at. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing here.
But in a way, it can be an asset, so to speak. You can see it, and you have the ocean and a home base that is not too much, so you can actually keep them there for the first few levels and then go there from there afterwards. And there are other little places like that. You can the cities along the east coast on there you have several that you can turn into that, even Relastra itself, if you want to go big city along the coast, because that is also doesn't have that much around. So you can make excursions out in the wilderness and you can have big city adventure, and then you can have ocean adventure going somewhere eventually, so to speak. So that's another possibility. If you don't want to run in Greyhawk, Relastra is a candidate for big city adventures. They can be interesting. It's a place of a lot of history.
When has an aquatic adventure sucked? I don't know, man. But like, how many are there besides you three, right? And what I ran Saturday night, they were underwater.
Yeah.
What's that? Did anyone watch Tim was scared to death to do potion miscibility? And he had a heroism potion. He wouldn't take the water breathing because he was afraid he was going to blow up. It was hysterical.
Isn't one of the miscibility
permanent
effects permanent? Yeah,
right. But it's more of a chance you're going to explode.
Yeah.
Or die or get sick or whatever. But it was a no effect one.
They have to anchor him. He might levitate forever,
awesome.
So they have to hold him like a balloon. He might float away.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's funny. Yep.
So, yeah, that's why it is awesome. It is. It was fantastic. It was a cool moment. So that's a good one, David. You're talking about and also everyone says Freeport should be here somewhere too. Right.
Yeah.
And that is Chris Prame. Let me see if I can throw that up here real quick. I'm not sure I have it on this computer.
Mahan in Genodi Bay in the Genode Island in the middle there. That's the one where we talked with Chris. He suggested that as the replacement to put Freeport.
All right. I think I got it here. So this is what we're talking about if you don't know. Right. There you go. Freeport City Adventure. This is made almost
Thank
for
you, David.
Greyhawk.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have a Dahlstrom primer. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, cool. Thanks for those
Mhm.
links, David. Everyone, you should keep the bloggers going, and that's
Yeah,
Mike,
that's fantastic.
David, Tommy John Kelly.
I put that on my reading
absolutely.
list. Yep. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And they look like Murlocs, don't they? Almost.
Yeah.
So there you go. This is the Freeport thing. This is a huge. How many pages is this? It's like 544 pages. Yeah, of content there. So there you go. Something you can utilize for a Greyhawk ship-based campaign setting somewhere. Yep.
I think most of the isles in the world of Greyhawk are going to be based on real world cultures. Unfortunately, I don't know how to even point out any that would have a difference. No.
Yep, that's cool, David. Please feel free to keep linking, man. How to buy? That's on that's Green Ronin. You want to go to Green Ronin? That's Chris Pramus's company.
Yeah.
You can get Freeport there. I don't know how much it is now, and you get. I think it's in. I'm not sure if it's just in Pathfinder or 5e, but that's Pathfinder edition I have. So yeah. Chris Pramus wrote the Slavers with Sean Reynolds, who we just had on a couple weeks ago. So. Where's your scraping the bottle?
No way, man. I'm treading. We're doing great.
We're doing great. Oh,
head above water.
Gary, that's not nice. It's like Malta or Mediterranean or more like a Caribbean isle chain. I am going to say, are you ready for this? Neither. I'm going to say that they had as much naval power as maybe the Carthaginians had back in the day. How's that sound? Throw it out there. Pre getting defeated by the Romans. They were a pretty strong naval power. There you go. Whether that's right or wrong. More like Gary's just like, no, Caribbean. More like Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, I would definitely have them a bit more Ullman in not fully Ullman by any means, but Ullman roots back in the day that have been 1,000 years ago been replaced by doing the migration. So Caribbean, like a mixture of old Ullman, a little bit of Flan, and then some Iridian Soul on top, so to speak. So it's like really a kind of a mishmash of a cultural mishmash of stuff over the years, so to speak.
That's playing catch up.
Yeah, Guy, we did say that, Mahan. Yep.
Mahan. Yep.
Green Ronin.
Yep, absolutely. So
Rex has got the questions. Monolith original.
The Git, Painterly Git. Wow, great to see you, man.
Welcome. Yep.
20.
We are talking. We're talking where to campaign next if you're a Greyhawk aficionado or not. It gives you some neat campaign ideas. Oh my gosh, that is weird. My screen is it's just my browser is frozen. Wow, I just noticed that it's showing HighFolk on my laptop. Let me refresh this. But everything else is fine. I was just looking at it like, oh my god, we're frozen. But no, it's just my laptop.
Yep, good.
I don't run on the
Let's talk about Freeport, and I'm just surprised that I've gone this long running like pirate themed campaigns and never use that.
For anyone who came in new, 2 sets of giveaways. 2, okay? You get your choice of two of these great adventures. You do have to be on to claim it. I gotta wait till thank you. I'm doing really well, man. I just got back from Texas for 3 days. I was like right down where Gary lives, or somewhere down there. You get your choice of 2 of these 2 times. We're gonna do two giveaways because we had a level 4 hype train to start off. And you just got to be on the claim, and I will send it out. Continental U.S. only. If you're outside, I'll get you a gift certificate to Reaper or some other company. So, yep, I'm doing really well, and I'm off of work for the rest of the year, so I can concentrate on my writing and Greyhawk. So it's good to see you all.
Yeah, Dark Elf, you have a good question, and we've answered that many times before, but I think the short answer is pick up Hamlet or the Cult Against the Reptile God, or Lane or Hamlet. Run one of those 2, and those are good starts in Greyhawk.
I'd suggest Hamlet because Against the Cult of the Reptile God has a deep plot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hamlet is you can run it as a local thing, and then you can decide if you want to go on further down on the Temple of Elemental route or not. But Hamlet is a good little sandbox with a great.
Or
Yeah.
you're not that far away from the city of Greyhawk.
Exactly.
If you want
Yeah,
a really
yeah.
long
You're in the
campaign.
heart of the setting. There's a lot
Yeah.
of cool little Greyhawk nuggets
Because
in
once you
there.
go to the city of Greyhawk, you'll be like,
Jack-
remember that little town Hamlet we
Bone
went
Hill's
to?
good too. I mean,
Yep.
did any of you see when Carlos came on down to me Sunday night, and I
Yep.
went through my top 10 of my top 12 of all time?
Yep.
And I know it was a little minorly controversial, but I did
Yep.
say Hamlet I think was number 4, right? And then there's Hamlet, and then I had Bone Hill
Yep.
in that top like 7 or 8 or something
Yep.
like that.
Yeah. So pick up one of these those classics and read them through, and then run them and tweak things a little bit as you see, but use them as a good starting point.
Yeah.
Because they give you a good introduction to Greyhawk, the old school, and you can run them using they're fairly straightforward to convert to 5e or whatever the rule set you want to use.
The reason I suggest Hamlet is the original campaign setting that's in the original glossography and the story, the Battle of Emerald Meadows, and how I started my campaign is all right here.
Yep.
The start of the entire Greyhawk campaign story-wise ends, and the players pick up right there. So, the Green Dragon Inn is right in Greyhawk City. The Green Dragon of Witchwood, I don't know what that is they're paying to get, but the Green Dragon Inn is in Greyhawk City. That is a big establishment in the Free City of Greyhawk.
Yep.
But I don't know if there's a Green Dragon of Witchwood. If that's from Wild Beyond the Witchwood,
Actual dragon.
That's not Greyhawk. Yeah. So.
Yeah, probably Dragonlance.
Yeah, it's probably Dragonlance.
I don't know.
But it's okay. So, Anna, where's your next?
My next campaign arc is one that I'm dying to do as well. So that's really high on the list, and it ties in a little bit to my old Rel Devon campaign, but I'm going to run it separate. And named it Boots from Hell, and that's the campaign, and it will start out in Knurl. You can start out different, but I was thinking that start out low level, so the characters are a set of they are low level that are sent as assistants on a diplomatic mission from the kingdom of King of Niron, from Relmord or someone. So
where's Knurl, Anna?
Knurl, go north and a little bit east, north and a little bit east.
That's what I thought. It was up here near the Highlander area, right?
Yeah, and zoom in there. Yep.
So, there it is. I thought it was right up here. I was like, where the heck is it?
So Knurl is in trouble. The Grenell and the North Kingdom, or Empire of Erde, as they call themselves in my campaign now, that they are threatening Knurl, and the kingdom of the King of Niron wants to send out and say to the Count of Knurl that he is going to support them and basically show a goodwill and kind of shore up the morale of Knurl a little bit and so on, waiting, and then he can send some more coming down the line. So you're the first probing mission to boost their morale a little bit. So they need some troops. So they're low level characters that are basically picked up as auxiliary guardsmen and bearers and porters and whatnot, so to speak, to follow. So it might be a diplomatic mission of 20, 50, maybe even 100 people sent to Knurl to kind of boost some high ambassador, some high nobleman, or someone leading the mission, so to speak. And the characters are there, and they're going to go to Knurl and simply show the flag and promise support from Relmord and so on and so forth. So that's the first step, so to speak, that low level. And when they're there, it starts as a diplomatic, meaning they will be received as a diplomatic mission with full honors, state dinners, and the whole shebang in order to. So it will start out with the pomp and circumstance of politics. And then it can turn into them being dragged in because there's all sorts of sides who wants to play out Neural, meaning everybody wants Neural on their side or make sure that Neural is not going on the other side, or they just want to deteriorate morale and stuff. So you can introduce skullduggery, murder, bribery, all sorts of stuff might happen in there, so to speak. So you can you can have 2 or 3 sides, meaning you have, of course, the Overking Grinnell in Eastfair. He has his eye on it, and so he has the secret agents there too to influence or bribe or outright murder someone if need be. Nyron might have sent a secret clandestine set of characters coming in there too that will play a part of it. And then we have the Sevener in Karlstrand with United Kingdom Melissa. He is very in on this fight too. So there's all sorts of various nefarious other factions and stuff that will be in on it, so to speak. So you can kind of develop it into things are happening and the characters are basically, it's the scene play out and you wait for the players to start picking sides and you tempt them with bribery, with all sorts of stuff, and bully them or do all sorts of things, so to speak. And it might turn out that the leader of the mission is an inept nobleman that is no good, that screws up or get murdered or whatever. So you can play this out many different ways. The important bit in the first bit is to get the characters in the middle of the action, so to speak, and they come in. So, or you can have them that they are living in Neural and this plays out and they are just there for the happening. That's another way of doing it too, but it's kind of cool to send them from the outside because then they don't need to know that much and you can kind of show them the ropes. So those are the things. And then the next step to ramp it up, I call a Nail X visit. Now all of a sudden, now we're talking mid-level to high level. And that's when when Duke Cornell realized, oh, this tempting and cajoling with the realm ward is too much. I'm going to send them a shot across the bow to show them who's boss here, so to speak. And it's so he's going to send a high level, really tough little attack just to show that he has power. And it's both to scare the people of Neural and to scare the leaders and the count of Neural, but he is probably smart enough to realize that wouldn't work. That would just make them even more scared of going and scared of him and going in the hands of Nyron. But the real target is the Nyron diplomats to tell them the mission that if you support Neural, you're going to get us as the enemy. So they might be the prime target for it. So he sends some of his best, and I would say this is kind of a really cool way to introduce a Death Knight. What if
Nice.
Eastfair and Grinnell had made an alliance with the Death Knights, and you send a Death Knight with a little entourage. He goes in, murder people left and right, and kill like a maniac, and then simply walks away, and then leave a few witnesses, because the important bit is that a few people need to witness this. Or if the characters are the lowest level, he might murder everybody else and then stop and say them, now you go back to your little petty king and show them this is who you're going to deal with if you stay here, so to speak, or something in those lines.
This is what we did to you.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. That will be kind of the mid-level, and there will be a skirmish thing and one big boss fight, so to speak, at the coming, and a kind of a hit and run campaign. And then they can decide if they want to follow them to see where it comes from, or if they just want to run away, or if they want to stay.
All right, so I don't want you guys beating me up when I ask these questions. Is Neural part of a Nyrond?
It was before. For a while it was yes.
Okay.
And then it was, so it's been part of it's one of these places that have been going left and right a little
it's
bit.
out of the way. Okay.
Exactly. And it was one of these that survived independent after the fall of the Bone March, and it's been part of Nyrond, occupied it for a while, and then it ended up after the war and the fall of the Great Kingdom as its own little thing, so to speak.
My other question is, I know that these other areas are on the map now. Are these living Greyhawk areas?
There are some some of them are living Greyhawks. Some of them are from the Gord books, and some of them are inferred from stuff in the Gord books. Like for instance, I have the March of Uskage that That is from the Gord books, because there is a general from the Great Kingdom of Askij. So I made Askij the March of Askij. That's his home domain, so to speak. So where he comes from and where he rules from. So I made that was a Great Kingdom, or the North Province. And then after the war, now it's taken over by Grenell and East Fair.
Lady Everly is her father's Count of Blemu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's you read the saga of the city, take these characters, take it part of you can run this in pre-war too, when it's the Great Kingdom that comes. I will run it in my campaign as now the Great Kingdom has fallen apart. So now it's a power struggle between Nyrond and the successor of the North Kingdom, Grenell's Naelix run Empire of the Erde. And so that will be and the diplomat. And then of course at the end to top this campaign off, it will be the next step will be before then. There will be the high level divert and hide, and that will be after the first attack that Grenell made with the Death Knight or something similar come in. Then it will be the characters will get the mission of hide and disperse treasure and people and put them to safety. So then it will be kind of a time mini seek refuge hideaway stuff before the Grenell's agents and stuff will find it. So it will basically be a chase overland and where you go first will determine so it will be kind of a skirmish little hex crawl when they have to take things up into the hills and through the forest going west and stuff like that. So there might be some panic and Grenell's troops are coming and nasty things can coming. A Death Knight can be behind any corner, so to speak, at night and stuff. You can dial it up. And of course, after that, you will have the gates of hell open, and that will be basically high level. Grenell is going to take Nurl by any means, so to speak, and he will unleash hell literally on Nurl to take it. And then he will be, are the Nyrond King Realmord, are they coming in close enough? Are they coming? Are Nurl going to fight it along? Are the characters, if they're coming from Nyrond, will they stay and fight and maybe even die for a realm that is not their hometown? Or are they going to simply say no and run away? Or are they going to stay or whatever? So you can kind of, but that could be a siege, a military campaign. You could be dungeons. You can have to run and hide and get out the city through the sewers. Awesome. All sorts of stuff like that as a higher level. So that's kind of a campaign arc I'm thinking of in a Nurl campaign.
Fantastic. Mike, what are your thoughts on this area or something nearby, or one to,
No, I know Anna's grasp of the politics and geography of that is quite good. It's not an area on my wish list, but it is definitely one I would recommend to people. I know that area is very popular between Nurl, Bone March, Radek. That whole area is very popular.
Yeah.
So note that eventually we're going to have Dale Ashur and his brother on, which is an area for his campaign right here.
I was just going to say this is Dale, just like my first campaign, Jay, was in your backyard. This campaign is set in Dale's backyard.
Dale's going to be on my Greyhawk at some point on a Wednesday night. We already did Rich's. We're going to do Dale's in this area here.
Is his name Chip? That'd be too funny.
Chip and Dale.
That'd be too funny.
But that will be, that doesn't have to be right now, but I'd like people, my civil group. Well, Sopiak,
that is a big,
it's so hard.
Yeah, exactly. We should have that on a Gabbin or something, because it is hard, and in this day and time, it's even harder. So yeah, I've switched to online gaming only, basically because of that, because it is easier because you have
the travel element out.
Exactly. You can basically have the whole world to choose from. So player base. So yeah.
I'll give you my tricks in a discussion on how I've kept my group together for 42 years.
Yeah. That's.
I mean, if it's worked, so
I think it's a great Gabbin topic.
Blackmail.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we're set for part 9 of we're set for part 9 of the dungeon discussion. If we
Yeah.
don't have a topic or a guest, maybe we can switch it. We'll see. Jay's wife pays us to stay. That's funny, Phil.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Right
That's
there.
awesome, Phil.
Yes, he had a
Now
zing.
we know the truth. Yes, we know the
Yes.
truth.
That's awesome. All right, so Mike, where are we going?
Well, let's stay in the area. So one of the things on my wish list here that I think would be interesting, at least interesting to people in the Greyhawk community I know, is to run something in the Theocracy of the Pale. Because I see that I could take this in 2 directions as well. Much like with my earlier idea with the Grandwood, you could play either the forces of the Theocracy of the Pale. You could play the clerics and the paladins and the people who are part of that Foltis religion, and just do their missions, do their good work, and quest on behalf of the Church of the Pale. Or you could play the oppressed and fight against the system, within this theocracy, which I don't really know if they're isolationists necessarily, but they seem to keep to their own, and they're doing
they're very
right.
nationalistic in a sense. They're very kind of, they seem to xenophobic in a way, kind of.
Clear the troll fens. Geography is another big thing that's tempting me, because I've never used the troll fens. Never used the Frostwood.
You could play Flight of Trister too.
I have ran Flight of Trister, but troll fens is not what it's about.
Right.
But I'd say that's the only time I've ever ran an adventure in there. And as soon as Flight of Trister was over, we were out of there. Never came back to the Theocracy of the Pale. So to set a campaign in the Theocracy of the Pale then would let me lean on maybe some pseudo-historical stuff of maybe crusades and papal politics or something. Who knows what I could pull out of my head, be it good or bad, because everyone has their opinion on what the Theocracy of the Pale is like.
That's a real good one. Because a lot of it is just what you hear there, right? Because no one ever adventures there, very rarely. And we just don't know, right? Because we just
also having that monotheistic thing is kind of interesting. It's like, okay, well, you want to play a cleric of anything else, blank, go for it. You're in the Theocracy of the Pale. What could go wrong?
Well, it's so true.
Excellent
one. All right, tangent. Is the head of the See of Medigia like the Pope or different? What about the prelacy of Almar? Anna, you want to take that one up?
I think both of them are high religious leaders. You can definitely see some similarities to the Pope, and you can especially the See of Medigia. You can hear it in the title. They even use the title of the Holy See,
or like
so
the
to
Chief
speak.
Justice Gary says.
Yes,
I always had Medigia was Hextor and Almor was Pador. Or no, Moronius? I'm not sure.
But also if you go back in history, in medieval times, a lot of the stuff that Pope did was judicial. Meaning it was like who should be. It was like be the Supreme Court, the final arbiter,
the king.
Yes, exactly, and to anoint the rulers. You couldn't be a king in Europe if the Pope weren't the one declaring you king, so to speak. So they were kingmakers in a lot of sense, and they were also the final arbiters in political disputes and stuff like that. So very much a supreme court with religious overtures, so to speak. That I see both of them, and the Medigia kind of more leaning towards the lawful, almost evil bent to some degree. It was like upholding very conservative, I guess we would use in today's speech, meaning in conservative in the sense of preserving the great kingdom, its rules, its legacy, and stuff like that. So don't use any modern political terms in that sense, but it's I would see it as the one to conserve the power of the great kingdom and its institutions and stuff like that, and to be a kind of also to be a little bit of an alternate to Roxas in that way. The king, when he went haywire, stability or something like that. That's my idea. And the prelate of Almor was probably to preserve another side of old Erde history and religious things and so on, and the good side rather than the more kind of evil oppressing side to things.
So Rex Velas asked if the Foltus was in a religion or worshiping there, and I don't think so. He's just the state religion.
Exactly. Yeah. Meaning
Theta Vistus starts out in the theocracy of the Pale.
True.
You know, so it's like, huh?
Yep. And especially when it comes to the Great Kingdom, like Almor and Medici and stuff, meaning you had the Heronians, Hextorians, and others that were very much a vital part of the religious and political infrastructure fabric of Great Kingdom. So they played a huge part. So you have to
having the theocrat be the head of a continent-wide Foltus organization would help that campaign some, so that you're not just playing in the theocracy. You'd be like, okay, go to the city of Greyhawk, to the Temple of Palor there, because so and so needs some help. You know, at least, you know, give you a reason to travel to other churches, maybe.
Yeah. And nowadays, in my Shieldlands campaign and stuff, I have in the Western Old Pharaon, meaning Forion, Divaluna, Shieldlands, and so on. There, in that Western Erde, then the Pelor has replaced Foltus, because Foltus was seen as the hand and the arm and the mouth of Rossi's and the remaining Great Kingdom, so to speak, and so they kind of, and he turned more and more lawful evil Foltians, and the Pelor was introduced as the Foltus alternative and the sun god that is good, so to speak. So it's kind of a cultural shift there that I play out.
For your idea, I have Pelor Heronius, and then Valuna I have Pelor and Ral.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so I have it that the western part of what was used to be the Great Kingdom is now a mixture of Oridian Flan, meaning Pelor and Rao are Flan deities. So I have it now as Valuna and Foriundi and some degree Shieldlands are now a mixture of Erde, Flan, and some Elven. And so especially Valuna is Flan, Elven, and Oridian in nature, and so is both High Folk and Foriundi, and Pale is the other end of the spectrum in that sense.
All right, I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a small. Here's what I do. I develop stuff that I love that's written up, well, no matter how small. So what I would do is, you know, I have two groups of Narwhal now, and I love our Narwhal groups, love them. But I would come down here, and I'd come right here, and I would, whoops, just move that 1 second. I'd come down into the southern part of the Wild Coast, and I'd either do the Cockatrice Riders of Pascarel, right? Or I'd go to Wyvernon, and remember, I was corrected now. This guy's a dwarf, not a human. Right, I got that correction. So I would come and I would work on this city here. It's very small, 180 people, and I'd start a campaign right here. Is it on this borderland where he's a Hexter priest and he's got these evil gnomes here, and the whole community is subservient to this guy. But they're slaughtering all the orcs. The orcs repel them every time, and that would be a cool, like, the bad guys are the good guys. Kind of deal. The Pascarel Cockatrice Riders are the same thing. They're a bunch of bandits and brigands, but they're kind of like the anti-heroes in the area. So I would maybe work on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, you tie in with that, you tie into another cool Greyhawk tradition, the evil gnomes that are the assistants of the
exactly.
that they pop up time and time, meaning this is the third, I think the third, and the third time is a trend, so to speak. So we have Caraptis, Caraptis at least, and Vecna, and then now this guy. So there's several people that have used
Dragonlance has Kinder.
So the little evil gnomes, they pop up in the stories from time to time. White Plume Mountains with Caraptis and stuff. So
So look at the picture here, Rick Solis, and then get a Max question. You see, look behind. Whoops, behind the dwarf here. See the gnomes? They're the evil gnomes right here. 3 of them. They're like plotting and stuff. So you got 3 evil gnomes with him, right in the picture, and all the humans just listening. All right, from Blue Box's discussion. Low comeliness, high charisma. Understand now? Okay, there you go. Gnomes are just misunderstood. So that would be an idea for me. Notice,
Man.
yeah, just something that I find cool that I haven't done myself. And I like I love the Narwhal Headhunters. I'm staying there, but for throwing you an idea, not far away. Um, some of the other things that you could have going on in this area. So, but what's their but what's the perception? I don't know. Hey, great. So you like that, Rob? I thought you would. I had to throw that out there from that discussion. All right, so yeah, as you can see, I've been so burnt I haven't planned much for this, but I'm doing my best here. So Anna, give us another one since you're on a roll.
Yeah, I have one. These are a bit shorter. I haven't developed them as fully, so to speak,
That's okay.
but I have one. Yeah, and this one is if you want to go full political, full kind of missions, clandestine missions at night and stuff like that, and court intrigue and stuff. It's not about big war or anything, but it's politics, intrigue, backstabbing, and so on through and through. So rogues, bards, and stuff like that will be a perfect campaign for this. And I call it a Silchus errand, and it's a thing that you again Nyrondian. Well, Malk, you pay attention. This is my tribute to you
tonight.
Yep. So we'll see. Yeah. So you are again a bunch of the kings, and this is a high level campaign primarily. I want to have really high level because this is risky and not something you would send. So you are a bunch of people that have done secret missions for the king before, and there is an errand person of high status from the Silchus church, from the Dorman house from Karlstrand, is showing up in Nyrond with a bunch of money and a few helpers, saying that he wants some people from Nyrond to come and talk to the Dorman or Silchus patriarch in Karlstrand and for some secret negotiations talk, and no one really knows. He doesn't want to know what it is, but to show his sincerity, he going to stay in Realmord as a hostage, and there's going to be a significant amount of money and stuff as a kind of a ransom. So to show that he's sincere, the patriarch wants things to be secret. Don't tell anyone else about it, and just send a little group. So because I have to talk, so to speak, and with the mandate to speak for the king. And that's the invitation. And any king who doesn't have to go personally would kind of want to send someone to figure out what the heck is. Someone who is disposable but reliable. And so meaning the characters in this sense, so to speak. So you will get like a secret mission. Yeah, it's exactly expendables but reliables. Yeah, so you will get a mission and to sneak into the United Kingdom of Elissa to Karlstrand and to figure out what the patriarch is up to. You don't know if you're just going there to get your head chopped off or if you are actually going to in there. And this is something that where you as a DM can introduce a lot of different things, meaning it might be a genuine attempt by maybe the patriarch of Silchus. He might want to defect. He might genuinely want to have a secret black trade deal that Sevener might be on the warpath, and he might want to set him back by handing over something that will go against Sevener. So, or he might even want to murder Sevener. He might want to be the Overking himself, and he wants someone from another country to do the dirty work. So you might setting up he might give you a chance to murder Sevener or someone else in his court, or blow something up, or do something like that. Or he might want to use you and to show that, see, they sent the king of Nyron send his best spies or whatever to screw up. So you might be a political pawn, you might be in big trouble, or it might be so you can kind of hint at various things during the way. It's a way to get them in to the biggest political squabble in Karlstrand in the middle of things, with only one person there to know where you come from, who you either need to trust or you can't trust, or something. It's a way of getting in. It's high level play really powerful characters. They can both sneak and charm their way around, so to speak. So rogue bards, magic users, and stuff like that will be kind of fun to do courtly intrigue, and it might be and again, you might know that Nyron might have an agent or two, so you might have people there that the patriarch doesn't know about. So you might double cross him too, and the king might want to start a political, military kind of, or political kind of diplomatic mission in secret too. So you might be double crossed both ways. You never know, so to speak. So it's one way of, if you want to go full political, full rogue, full city adventure, that might be a way of doing it, so to speak.
On a larger scale than doing it in Greyhawk. I mean,
Yeah.
Greyhawk is, you got a lot of that going on, but you're talking about the second largest kingdom in all of Greyhawk.
Oh yeah, and I wanted something that is, and Nyron and United Kingdom of Alyssa, at least in my campaign, are they don't know, they're frenemies, so to speak. They're a bit like China and the U.S. today, meaning they both they have great economic ties. They are both dependent on each other. They are also strategic rivals, political rivals, and could very easily be enemies. They don't want to have open war, but they have hostilities, and they wouldn't. They can easily murder each other's people as long as it stays beneath a certain level, so to speak. And so it's, and you can also see that there are people, especially in the United Kingdom of Alyssa, because Sevener is an evil bastard to run his realm, and he might have oppositions within his own ranks, so to speak, that want to kill him or get him out of the way for political reasons or something. So you can all of a sudden you might be part of a coup d'etat or something like that you don't realize, and you might be singled out as the representatives who did the deed. The Sevener might be murdered at a dinner, and the patriarch are using you with the evidence that you come from Realm Mord, and you'll be hanged for it or something like that, and it might just want to use you as a scapegoat. I mean, there's endless of cool possibilities that you can set up the party for something. Or they might be the other way around. They might want to save the patriarch and send him to Realm Mord or something like that, so you can play it one way or the other.
Gary just put, Nyron is great for narcoleptic PCs.
Yes,
that's just wrong, man.
Oh yeah, that's kind of but
that is
I used it as a good realm in this sense, but also someone who is probably willing to take a risk or two if that might be political gains to be had. So yeah. That was an idea of city adventuring, diplomacy, intrigue, and stuff like that. So if you want to run a lot of parties, masquerades, and all sorts of stuff like that.
Before we go to Mike's, I know Big Mac was talking about running something like the bottom of the Rift Canyon, which everyone has. What's down there, right? So it's different in different areas, but it's an area absolutely you can really explore.
It's geographically irresistible. It's such a cool feature that you just want to go there. Yeah,
absolutely. I've never used it, but
and it's
Go ahead, Anna.
I was going to say it's kind of interesting also because instead of having a horizontal exploration, you can have a vertical ones where you have to go from level to level on the outside, and you have to rappel down, and you find different caves and stuff. So you can do a kind of each session can be exploring a new hole in or a new level or something, and then you descend further and further down. So,
definitely one that can be further explored, and that. Another point to this discussion is, all right, so you got some locations up here. You've got swaths of hundreds of thousands of square miles where there's nothing on the map.
Yep.
So, like, anywhere you go, and that's, like, even though, all right, so the Shieldlands thing's got a lot of locations, big deal, right? Even the worst overdone area of Verbobank, there's still a ton of open space when you really think about it. Yeah. You could get rid of a lot of these locations if you wanted to. So that crash site from Gamma World. Well, Gary, don't make Gary Puffet's measure eyes pop out there.
It's like Barrier Peaks.
Yeah, it's like Barrier Peaks to him. We don't want to go there on that. So the pits of Zezek along the eastern wing of the Aber Isles between the Bright Desert. Oh, okay. Yeah. We talked about that the other night, I believe. Yeah, between the Aberals and the Nesser River, right? Mm, in the eastern wing of the Aberals. I'm here, Nesser River. Where are the pits? The
The
Vazixil.
pits.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Bright Desert.
Yeah. Oh, it's Bright Desert. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why are they on the way that? I'm sorry. I'm just beat. All the way over here, right? It's over here.
No, northern end of it,
North.
towards Greyhawk.
Towards Greyhawk.
Yep. And then
It's probably on the western
a
side.
little bit on the towards the west from where you are there, and then zoom in.
Oh, there it
Yeah,
is.
there you go.
That's sort of one of the Star Cairns.
Yep.
Yeah. There we go. That's why I'm looking in the wrong spot. Yuck. So there's a magic stone actually that turns everyone 5 miles into undead if they die. Yes, that's a cool area. I love this. Once again, there's a lot in this area that was put in during the slavers and during from the ashes, but it's not that filled. And we had Sean on because he did the Star Cairns and he talked about he has 4 of the 5 ones marked, which is no big deal. The 5th one's up here somewhere, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But there, you got a lot of opportunities here. So you could raid the plot of World War Z. I don't know about World War Z. The super fast zombies that can climb, music makes them climb up a wall 200 feet high into Jerusalem or whatever. That crazy stuff. I mean, and then how does Brad Pitt survive the freaking plane crash? Okay, I mean, my
It's
gosh,
movies. It's the movies.
yes.
Yep.
Well, as long as you're okay, Curtis, with the horrible traffic. So, yeah, if I stole stuff from Dark Sun for Sea of Dust, any suggestions for Dry Steps inspiration? Well, that's Mike's area almost with all. So, Mike, any ideas for inspiration? South of all, Dry Steps? If I stole stuff from Dark Sun for Sea of Dust, any suggestions for Dry Steps inspiration?
You could nab the Desert of Desolation series.
Oh, put the I series there. Yeah, that's a good idea. And where's a Cup of Talisman at Alec Bar supposed to be?
It's the eastern end of it.
Same,
that realm is there.
Sultanate of Arir here. Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's right here.
There you go. Yep.
So you actually have that. You actually have that Cup of Talisman Alec Bar adventure right here.
Oh, geez, Rex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Orth Journal has some stuff on Dry Steps as well.
Yep.
Thrive Cream.
Yeah.
Would think it there.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. You already have some decent stuff written up, which is great for that area. And once again, the Dry Steps, as you can see, Anna's made it so that look, there is some. It's almost like the Nile, right? You got some green in here.
Well, there's some rivers because they run off from. They're probably seasonal, so they are like spring rivers up until early summer, and then they dry out during summer and fall, and then they come again in the winter. Yeah, so there's basically runoff from the mountains. So when the snow melts in the spring in the mountains, then and the summer, then the rivers tend to fill up, and then they dry out again.
I will be in March. I will be 56 in March, and my campaign's 42 years old. So there you go. Been playing with my friends since we were kids. Yep. All right, Mike, what do you got?
I'm not ignoring your question, Rex. How do I get into all? All is actually on my wish list, believe it or not, because I have not ran an old campaign since the end of 2nd edition, which is rather surprising because that's all I've wrote about since the end of 2nd edition. Is a lot of all. So I write campaigns material for all, but I don't run campaigns in all, which is kind of a weird thing to think about. So and why all? Because it's out of the way, of course. You can do whatever you want there. As a matter of fact, my latest 2 posts are on all.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you want to post them ahead of time, or you want to wait
Well,
till the
we'll
end?
talk about that later.
So
Mhm.
is all the most Conan of all the locations?
Well, I never heard that question.
I
It's
immediately
a
think of
cool one.
Conan. I
Yeah,
immediately think of it.
I think so too. That
Yeah.
that it kind of Conan is the all
Patrick.
he will be an honorary all light without any question.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a definitely a place where you could have a Conan character spring from. Life is harsh. You gotta fight to survive.
Mhm.
Running from wolves and
Crumb
everything.
might be someone
Yeah.
they believed in. Crumb.
Crumb and
they,
Cord may be very close,
yeah.
I think.
I was going to go say, what
Koran,
about
yeah.
a Cord version of someone they believe in the steel, so to speak? So
Or maybe even Lurg. Maybe even Lurg,
yeah.
too.
Mhm.
Blurg, nice one.
Yeah, but are they all light? Are they Bakluni in ancestry
They
or
are Bakluni nomads
Mhm.
yeah,
that have their own divergent culture.
yeah.
They have their own dialect,
Mhm.
which
So they're Bakluni
not
subculture
many,
or splinter culture or something.
like in the Livingard Gazetteer, there is no Ekberg dialect or Tusman dialect. Hull has their own dialect.
Mm-hmm.
And I would suspect that's because the people who wrote the Livingard Gazetteer think all are just backwards, and so it's like they're less educated version of the Backlundish language.
All's the most Dark Sun you're going to get right now.
Yeah.
Because you got half ogres running the place, right? A lot of half ogres here, and that's just it gets to that half giant deal with Dark Sun. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess old could be the. I mean, it's not desert.
It's
if,
not.
if
No,
you're running Dark Sun in the Sea of Dust, and then the dry it's still pretty rough. Then O's, now you're getting into a fertile area.
Yeah,
on the edge. So
there's at least enough for grazing animals and horses and stuff.
It's
so,
a Cossack area, which is Mediterranean was based on.
Yeah, like Central Asia or something like that in
like
climate.
Mongolia.
Yep.
Yeah, very cool. So,
but yeah, I could go on about all for days, of course, because I've written so much about it.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Of course, I've never run a campaign. Now, I've run adventures, but Order of Ulick adventures, but I've never run a campaign. I would, in Furiandi itself, I'd love to see a Furiandi campaign. I especially you could run it. You could run it and set it up the following. Characters are younger. They can run through start 570 or whatever, run through when they get older, and then the wars come, and then you have the wonderful, Road of Skulls and the Raising Line and all the other fun stuff up here, right? And the invasion by Ayus and fighting that. It's a perfect timing thing. You can make them from, the safe area background and just work them out. It doesn't have to be all human either. You can have other races there. I'm just saying. I think a Furiandi campaign would be kind of cool. Question about that would be an area that I would suggest. And Southern Furiandi can deal with the divers. You can deal with Verbabank. You can even do stuff. With High Folk, and you got 3 orders of the Knight of the Heart. So you got a lot you can do in this area.
My only Furiandi campaign that I ever ran was based around the Knights of the Heart.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of that. We were also borrowing off of Pendragon role-playing game books for flavor.
Nothing wrong with
that. We did a lot of jousts. And then the wars broke out. And that was the end of that.
So Knights of the Heart have been like early on. Oh, thanks, Rob. I'll give us a second hype train.
Yeah, thank you, Rob.
I really appreciate doing that for Orchid. Knights of the Heart were the most developed of all the knighthoods in the original glossography book. They actually had the different sects in there and stuff. Sect, S-E-C-T-S. Okay, everyone, I'm not saying S-E-X. All right. I know with my South Jersey accent here, but I use the Knights of the High Forest. I even have them documented, Mike. And whereas you had the Knights of Furiandi, that sect, right? More. So it's a cool thing to develop. Yeah. PG-13. I'm trying. After the R-rated last Saturday night one but see, it's okay because the ladies are doing it, so I'm just sitting back and watching. So thank you for the second hype train on this. The 3 hearts are awesome. So
yeah.
all right,
David has some a good question.
Yep, go for it.
And yes, I have it that the Chillum River. Yes, I have it that originally before the Invoke devastation and the twin cataclysms, that actually drained the big lakes that were up there. That was part of the Sul Empire. So yeah. So I have it that the river that was the major outlet, so to speak. It led out from up on from the plateau. And it's part of a secret mapping project I have, so that I'm working on at the moment when I have a little bit of time left over now and then. Not so much anymore, but it's 1/3 done, so it's getting there. Yep.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That will be that will be part of the Fantasy Mapping Show Friday.
Yes.
Nice.
Friday night Fantasy Mapping Show. We'll talk about that at the end. A lot, like I said, 5 streams in 5 days. And the reason I don't say nights is because Saturdays is in the morning with the BattleTech one. So has anyone played the Sul Imperium way back in time? So
Nope.
a good question and a good area to develop is not 570. Early Sul Imperium, or right at the Invoke devastation, right at the turmoil between crowns, where the Tomb Cataclysm's 10th level spells being used. It's not specifically stated anywhere what the spells are. There's some. Thank you, Scotch Jeff. It's we have that that item in there's a rod right in the Greyhawk Adventures that says it can do part of the Invoke devastation.
It's clearly a ritual.
It's clearly a ritual.
Yeah.
It's clearly ritual magic. What is ritual magic?
I guess it's up to you.
Player's second edition kind of goes over it a little bit, right? So
yep.
So Amy, yes, you got loaned a car, which is All right. So everyone, we've done. We'll show this. So loan a car is here.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks to Amy.
Amy, who's on. I'm actually working on a Sul Imperium campaign based off my loan a car work. I'm very much preliminary on that, though. Got to finish other
shifted
projects
it. I moved the location so it will actually fit better, and I rearranged Luna Car so it will fit Amy's Worth Journal article. So the latest version of the map has a Luna Car. I've adjusted it so it fits Amy's awesome article. Yep.
Mystery, yes, I believe so. I believe that's the case. Based on Nathan Ellis's original article, that people know that. Yep. Amy, but see, once again, you found something you loved the write-up on, and you further developed it, just like I've done it, and we've all done it. So you're paying homage to that, absolutely, and that's a great thing. Says old maps of Earth show spell jamming ports in the Sul Imperium. It's Nels. Yes, Nels here. Okay. All right, Anna, what do you got? What do you got?
I have one that I ran back in. Was one of my first 3rd edition adventures when we got up to high level 3rd edition, and it's something I just couldn't resist. And if you want to find the worst, you want to run a short, high level, brutal, terribly difficult campaign that you run backwards. That was my goal for this, and I wanted to send them to IU's worst hellhole or abyss hole, so to speak, that you can find, and that's the Gibbering Gate. Yeah. So I've talked about it a few times before here on the show, but that was one a short, brutal campaign that I run backwards in many ways, which I think was kind of it was a very success. It was very popular with the players I had because they kind of loved it, and they were also fairly new players. I simply say, what now? I'm not going to give you 1st level characters. I gave them 12th level characters, and I just said that now you're going to go in and I'm going to give you hell literally, and it was a great success. It was kind of a quick introduction over a 3-day weekend. We played it over 3 days, basically 16 hours a day for 3 days. and we played in a cool location too. And so I ran the Gibbering Gate. And the idea with the adventure is to do, because this is the early days when people were thinking, and these were computer gamers more than D&D players. So they were thinking boss fights and all that. So I was like, okay, let's do it the opposite. So let's start out with getting the treasure first. The end treasure, you get that first. Then you have to fight the boss. Then you have to get into the damn thing, and then you have to get out, and eventually you start with down at the bottom, so to speak. So you end the adventure. So it's very much the opposite way. So the Gibbering Gate in my version is I use top security prison. That's where he put away everything that he might want to find useful in the future somehow, but he wants to make sure that it never escapes. So it's sitting out on the open plain. It's visible for miles, and it's kind of a stone made out of abyssal material, abyssal stone, a monolith sitting out in the front and it has a moat that is full of undead. And so there's like thousands of undeads crawling around it, so to speak. The inside is a separate demi-plane. So it's like a thermos that is isolated from the outer world, and it's only one way in. Or there's a couple of other ways too. And thankfully, that's when I introduced my Katarina. She was then the High Marshal of Furundi, and ran. This is during the war, so to speak. And their mission was to find Thrommel and a couple of other prisoners, and to get them out. Yes, and to save and to save the Thrommel if possible, and to save the Womtham, the Earl of Womtham, and to save him out. So that was part of lore, so to speak. So that was set. And so first it was and what happened, they snuck up, so to speak, secretly, and then Katarina made sure that there were like a dragon attack and a bunch of others coming in, like aerial support, so to speak, to get them in. Because what happens is that they have a real nasty, the surface guard of the prison, so to speak, is a Bale or some other super high demon, and an entourage. So he was out there as soon as someone shows up, and he can see them and hear them from quite a distance. He'd go out there and deal with them themselves. So they had to deal with the boss monster that was like CR19 or something from the get-go. But the thing was that what he didn't realize, that what they wanted was to lure him away, and then he had 3 dragons attack him. So they helped wipe him out, so to speak, and have him run for his money. So he ran back in and shut the shop, and then they snuck in the back way. So that was part of and they had 2 dragons helping them, blasting a hole through the back wall, and then they were in. And then it was basically a cat and mouse running through the thing. And it was kind of funny when they were walking through and saw all these kind of nasty critters that I used to have locked in. They were like, who the hell are the prison guards down here? That was one of the questions. It was like, they found this guy outside, and then who are the prison guards? And I had special kind of demons and stuff that were prison guards. And then it turned into a horror adventure. But then it was then they found out that there's a twist to it. The prisoners, their souls are locked in there, but their bodies are the undead out in the moat. So in order to free the prisoners, you have to find the body in order to get them back, because the bodies are actually out in the moat. So you have to go around among the undead and find them, and you have to use magic and divinations and stuff. So yeah, I use all sorts of devious spells and devious methods. And I also, that's when I started to introduce Ayusian spells, high level Ayusian spells that I'm now converting to 5e for my current campaign. And one is a 9th level spell that is Dome of Despair. Another one is a 9th level spell called Exterminate. And there's a couple of other spells that are really, and the Dome of Despair is a nasty spell that has a mile diameter radius, and you can't flee from it. It's really, really nasty. You have to suffer through it, and you have to run through it a mile, so to speak. But there are ways to mitigate it. But if you don't know those ways and you don't have it, you are doomed. It doesn't matter if you're whatever level you are. You're going to succumb to that one. But there are ways around it. So if you want to fight this adventure the paladin was key. If you didn't have a paladin, you didn't stand a chance. And
Because of their protection from
some
evil.
Oh yeah, exactly. You need someone who can deal with that. You need a high level cleric and really high level that can maintain the connection to the good side, because you're literally going down into the abyss on this one. And so that one was really, really nasty. And you need some good rogue characters, because you need stealth, smart, and skulking around and stuff was really, really smart. And some charismatic and some magic and stuff on this one, because you can't fight it all. You will be dead in
So
you have to
Anna
sneak
read
around.
City of Skulls, and she's like, "Oh, this is not."
Yeah, this is nothing.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a high.
Oh
This
my
is something
gosh.
for 16 for 12 level plus to go in there, so to speak, and it's really, really, really nasty.
All right,
And yeah,
I
yeah,
got
so-
an idea, baptized. I
Mhm.
got an idea.
Yep.
We'll have a Gabbin. It's got to be a Gabbin
Yep.
show.
and
Custom
these
spells.
yeah,
We'll share
these
our
spells
custom
are
spells.
Yeah, and these
Nice.
spells, as
Yeah.
soon as I've used them again in my campaign against the characters,
All
I'm
right.
going to going on my blog, so my patrons, and then on my
Nice.
website. So they will come. I've studied them out, and both of them are nasty. But the Dome of Despair, I think, is the coolest one ever, and it works kind of differently. And Exterminate is a nasty one too. But that's more direct, so to speak. And that's when in high level IUCN clerics get really angry. That's when they use Exterminate. Dome of Despair is just when they want to simply, I've had enough of you petty people around, so to speak, and you just want to torment everybody around and it works against everything, own side as well as the enemy. He doesn't care. So yeah.
I may even see if we do a custom spells one, if we can get Ed to create some new spells
Yeah.
right on
He
the
is the
spot.
king of custom.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
definitely.
Create us some
Yep.
spells, Ed, for Greyhawk.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah. They're coming. There will be a spell compendium a little coming next year. So that's coming. So, and it will be a monster one too, that I will collect the monsters and
Oh my
and
god.
the spells I'm using for my campaign, and the house rules too. So yeah.
Oh, Gary.
Gary, if I don't run
Needling.
a BattleTech game once a year, Battlefriend goes crazy. Okay, I got to run one a year, and it's this Saturday. And trust me, I am off for the rest of the year, and I got a
Yep.
lot of
Mhm.
I got a lot of prep time for Altamira intentionally. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
My poor players. It's nasty to play my campaigns. It's tough. So yeah. Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
heard your campaigns are tough because it's hard to get out of first level.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's hard to get to first level, so you have to
Oh,
be glad if you
right.
survive to first
Get
level.
to
Yeah.
first level, right?
I will. I'm making the attempt to please everyone because I'm that kind
Yep.
of guy.
Mhm.
So well, that's awesome, man. That one scares me actually. I don't think
Oh, yeah.
that
It's-
scares me
it's-
worse than anything Tim's ever done.
Yeah, but that
Uh,
is it. That's the whole intent. You go in there or you can also run it that you'll be taking prisoner in there, so to speak. That will be even worse, so to speak. So you might be also you can so there is different, but so, and that's one of the I have sketches and stuff. I'm going to update them and bring it up. So that's something for 2024, I think, to have it studied out and sketched out and stuff, because there's some cool stuff for my Gibbering Gate version, so to speak. Yeah.
Wow. So,
Thank you.
all right, Mike. Well, yeah. What do you got for us here? You're muted.
Yeah, I think I can probably come up with one more here.
That's good. That's perfect.
A recent one-shot game we did. We were playing an adventure card
Mhm.
out of the City of Greyhawk box set.
Oh, Rovers.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's one where you go to this house for some other reason, and when you come up on it, you find that two factions of hobgoblins are squabbling, and a fight breaks out between the two, and then you end up playing the hobgoblins, basically. So it ended up being player versus player, and they're playing hobgoblins, and they had a lot of fun just breaking loose as humanoids.
Oh, okay.
And after we did that one shot, it's just an adventure card, front and back, real easy. Then there was some at-length discussion about how fun it was to play hobgoblins, and they started looking into what other like orcs and goblins and other things that were available in 5e's what we run. And I said, well, it would be very doable to do a Greyhawk campaign where everyone are playing humanoid characters. We could do the Pomars, for instance. You could be all you could all be hobgoblins, or you could be a mixed group, just like if you were the good guys. You could, Highport could be your main destination or something. But it's one of those take the opposite approach things. You're attacking good characters, or maybe you're just scraping out an existence fighting monsters like normal. I don't know.
Did Rich run something out of Spine Castle that was humanoids? Or am I forgetting this wrong, Gary? We don't. What's going on in blue? Nothing.
What's going on in blue?
Nothing's going on in blue yet. I wanted it to be the next one Alyssa did, but I got overruled. So, yeah.
Yeah, Colts.
Yeah, that's great. What's that? The Colts.
Yeah.
The Colts are going to win some key games coming up. I know. I have a feeling. They're spoilers now.
We're tanking it.
Oh, Les did it. Les ran. That's it. I apologize. You're right. Les ran the humanoid one, or the bad guy.
Okay, so Spine Castle would be another good one for humanoids. If you want to get something a little more sophisticated, organized, I think. And then, of course, you could do IUs if you want to get wrapped up in IUs politics. I said Pomars. I said Pomars at first blush because, if you put the Turish Mock slave lord stuff aside, you could just ignore all that and go about your own orc business. Whereas Spine Castle is, ruled with an iron fist, so is IUs.
Baptized cousins, Ryan Delem. Look at that.
Ooh, well.
Awesome. That's really cool. So, all right. I'm going to finish this up. That's good, Mike.
Nice.
If I have to run something I've never done before, okay, and I got to go out of my comfort zone.
Are you going on the right side of the map?
No.
No, okay, not that far out.
Well, it is far.
Okay.
This is what I'm going to do. Now, I'm not saying we're doing this, but this is what I would do, because would be completely out, and it's not new, but it would be new to my campaign, just to show there's existing published source material I've never touched. Are you ready? I'd run Savage Tide.
Oh.
Okay. I would come down here.
Yeah.
I'm not running Shackled City. When I went through that, I'm like, no way. But I would run Savage Tide. I would go and we have the Sasserine published source material. We have the whole city. So we can do a campaign based out of Sasserine.
That's a good one, Jay.
Thank you.
And you have ships and stuff, so you can do the ship
as soon
version.
As the campaign leaves Sasserine and goes to Aladrid, it's all downhill. Right, Gary?
Yeah.
But
I'd love to feel out how it goes, and
they put so much work into that city, and just to have like maybe one or two adventures that was set in the city area. You could do a lot more with that.
And I also think it could be good for miniature style. You have a lot of ship things that you can have this. You can so that will tie into it. Then you can you make landfall in different parts during the stuff where you build. So I think that could work too. Yeah.
Out of my comfort zone has nothing to do with my Order of Eula campaign. Right. Yeah. This is Fantasyland, everyone, because that's probably not going to happen with all the stuff I'm doing with the Altamir box set and all. But you never know. Maybe down the road, I'm retired. I'm not working anymore. And then we got some extra time on our hands. Maybe a Savage Tide adventure pad. It'll still be around. It's not like the material's going anywhere. And that could be cool. And we have relationships with James Jacobs and Eric Mona and Bowman. Maybe we get them to come in and guest in some games and stuff. I'm just saying it would be something a little different out there. Because I know
that's true.
Yeah.
Captain Ron's right. The last slave lord, which is like A0, is set near
it's on the eastern side of the map.
Yeah.
No, A0 is over here.
A0?
A0.
Well, whatever. Then I'm getting confused.
Scan.
The last slave lord, maybe that was in dungeon then.
That is
a module.
4th edition one. Yeah, the 4th edition one.
Yeah, and it's set near Sasserine.
No, so Rex Fellas, here's the deal. We talked about this on Sunday Night's Gab, and Anna and myself did. Cauldron the Shackled City adventure path is retconned back to Greyhawk when they did Savage Tide. So Sassarine was always Greyhawk. It wasn't like a neutral site and then they placed it there. That's where it got placed by James Jacobs. You gotta remember, this is the Book of Wild Darkness, also Scuttle Cove, all that. That's all James Jacobs stuff. So from his own personal campaign. So it's the first.
Yeah, I'd say the first 2/3 of Savage Tide's pretty good, and then when you get into the high
into
level
the
stuff,
into
it
the
has
abyss.
nothing to do with Sassarine anymore.
Right. But running in a campaign down here where you would put that in a long term, you don't run the adventure path straight through. You do a whole bunch of other things, right? And you run, and that would be a reference in Age of Worms. So yeah, they are. They are referenced, and then it's placed. So it may be Piak. It may be as early as the Age of Worms that they place this here, thinking that they're going to do. They know their time frame and thinking they're doing Sassarine.
Age of Worms and Savage Tide happened because
it's a good idea.
The Cauldron stuff was so successful. Shackled City was so successful. That's the reason why we got to the other APs.
Yeah, Mac.
So they built on it.
Yeah, Mac. He's talking about the 4th edition one, The Last Slave Lord, which is not A0.
A1. Right. Okay.
So that's what I would do if I had to go way out of my comfort zone. Because that's way out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, Gary's right. I would end the adventure path on the Isle of Dread and then go back to Sassarine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go any farther.
It's a good idea. And that would be the one that I would end it on. I mean, that I would do. And this would take forever.
Dungeon 215, which is probably only digital.
Yeah. It's 4th edition.
Yeah.
So hopefully we gave you, we'll do some shout-outs and stuff now. We give you some ideas.
Yeah.
Some really good ideas.
I have a couple of just names of adventures that I haven't fleshed out in detail, so I can make a few teasers, so to speak.
Title her.
Oh yeah, they need to be titled because that's part of my inspiration, so to speak. So one I'm thinking of is Bring Home Crovis. That's
Joe Block would love that.
Yeah.
Bring Home Crovis.
Yeah, and another one is Death Knight Competition. That's one I have. Dragon Elves is one I'm thinking about. The Dragon Hunt Diversion is another one I have. The Elven Gates is another campaign idea I have. The Embalmed Dead of the Flan is another one I'm having. The Find the Old Malachite Throne is another one I'm working on.
There's been multiple
in the basement.
Yeah, and then we have Get the Names is another one.
Get the names.
And then I have
Demon True Names.
Get the Names. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that one, so to speak. I have another one. Pale Succession is another one I have. And then we have 6 Miles Deep is another campaign idea I have. And then I have one that this one is a good one. Tharistun, the Soul, and Black Ice. That one is a really cool one for the future. That one goes deep into history. And then another one is Thoughts on Lichdom is another one here. And,
too bad Len's not around because Len did that Lich article.
Yep. Yep. So those are some of the basic ideas. They're just 2-3 sentences or paragraph long at the top, so to speak. Ideas I'm toying with. So yeah.
Just the concept, which is
just
awesome.
1 or 2 little footnotes. That's it. So yeah.
What was the one you said in deep? Because I went right to something.
6 miles deep.
Okay, I went. All right.
They're usually 6 deep, 6 feet deep. But this is 6 miles deep. Yeah.
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 That's cool. Oh wow.
Yep. And another one is Young Caraptus is another one too that
Remember, Anna, I have Caraptus is 18 years old in my game because of Return to Whitefoot Mountain.
Your part inspired me for that one. And that might be a follow-up to my Shieldlands campaign.
The child, the baby that Caraptus becomes at the end of that is growing up.
Yeah, the rebirth of Caraptus over and over again. It's awesome. So,
Very, very cool.
Yep.
So, I know. Wow, that was. See, another one we get. Another great
Mhm.
discussion here.
Yeah.
Let me get. I'm getting all my things in order right now. So, Mike, why don't we talk about let's talk about your post that you got up now.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do you got cooking for us, man? Get something fun.
Oh, my post.
Yeah. What's
So I
going
got.
so people can take a look.
I have a. Now I got. I'm drawing a
Oh.
blank. Yeah, they're both in all. I have all right. One post is on a new NPC, a orcish weapons dealer.
Oh, cool.
Because over in all, orcs are more in with the Backloonish culture, and they're not just random raiders. This one just happens to supply weapons to raiders, so it's getting a little better. But that one I came up with recently, and then my other one, oh yeah, my other one is a 5e adaptation creation. It's the dry ones. You've heard of the drowned ones?
I saw
Well,
that.
the dry ones are in the desert, and that also would have ties to my boy Abi Dalzim.
I love that.
So yeah, so check those out. You got a monster and an NPC. And these are both continuations of series I've done, custom monsters, NPCs for your campaign. I set them in all, but these are NPCs that I write that should be good enough really to plop in any campaign. I'm not trying to get too specific with them.
Okay. Great post, Mike. I love the
Yep.
dry ones
Awesome.
idea. That's
Yeah,
so
the
much
dry ones.
I'll be
Fantastic.
utilizing.
They want your moisture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
No, it's perfect. It fits
Yeah.
perfectly in with Albie Dalzim, and it fits because he's from.
Yeah.
You have him from
Yeah,
all.
he's
It's
he's
perfect.
wilting. They're trying to
Yeah, they used his
desiccate
spell
you.
of wilting. Yeah.
Yeah, they were probably created as a side effect of that spell.
Yeah.
At some point.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome! Thank
and
you.
also, Nerol created the drowned ones, and Cabulus created the dry ones. Just cause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God of droughts.
That's awesome. So, what else? What else is going on with you, Mike?
Yeah. So I'm running Spelljammer. I'm going to be running the published adventure for it. So once that's over, I'm probably done with that.
What are your thoughts on it?
On the published adventure or Spelljammer in general?
On both, on the 5e.
Because I've been having a heck of a fun time.
Okay.
One of my friends described it as my Sea Princess campaign in space. So it was not much of a change of style for me. It just gave me an opportunity to go to different planets and use some other playable races. So yeah, everyone's having a fun time with it. And then I'm running Horror on the Hill for Mystara. And that's been pretty interesting. I've never ran that before, so
that is unbelievable. You're gonna laugh your butt off in about 10 minutes. Okay. You'll see. Horror on the Hill, right?
On the Hill.
Okay, just wait. That's funny because I kind of homaged it. You'll see.
And it's like a forest crawl, kind of like it's like Keep on the Borderlands, but it's in a forest.
Cool.
I guess.
Yeah.
Awesome. Really cool, man. Well, thanks for bringing up this topic tonight. We had a fun time with this one. Like we always have fun time with the topics where we can ramble and just bounce all over the place.
It was just very broad, open.
Yeah. Pre-Wars Create Kingdom can be your prototypical Game of Thrones campaign. Yes, I would suggest that there's other places too that you can go. You can Game of Thrones it in the Soul Imperium before the Evoke Devastation. So a lot of places you can do that. So. All right, Mike. Well, thanks a lot, Anna. What do you got going on?
Tons and tons and tons of stuff, and some of the will be. And first of all, I have to apologize to everybody for neglecting email and Facebook and God knows what for a few days. But first of all, I've not COVID, but I've got a cold that spread around here. So I've tested for COVID and was negative over and over again. So I'm just having a throat and a good old cold. So but also I'm put my new machine through its paces here. So I have some cool updates and some first kind of renders, and I think Jay will be pleased.
Oh, I can't
So we
wait. I
have
haven't seen any of it.
Yeah,
I
so
can't
we
wait
have
till
some cool stuff,
Friday night.
and yeah, I also have a project that I've hinted at before and maybe even used on one of my map live streams a little bit, but it's come through. So I'm going to show that and talk about that on Friday. So there will be an Altamira update, and there will be an update on what's coming a bit next year, because I'm sitting down and writing my end of the year and the outlook for next year post too. That will be more kind of profound this year, because I just found out it's 25 years since I started this endeavor
Oh my
of doing
gosh.
map cartography. So I was thinking, okay, I've been
Wow.
doing this for 25 years now, since I started mapping, so to speak. I started that 25 years ago, almost to the month, because the first screenshots and notes I have are from October, early November of 1997. So it's like it's 25 years. So I'm like, come on here, I need to. So I was kind of thinking, okay, if I want to do the, meaning I'm now coming up on 58 soon. So that means that I'm at best, I have 25 more years at best. So I need to start thinking, what should I do with these years, so to speak, and hopefully have at least 20 years. That we lost Kim Moham this week, so we know that I'm not going to live forever, and hopefully no one else will live forever, at least in the undead sense, so to speak.
Right.
When it comes to the fantasy sense, so to speak. So I know I have 20
Hey, Mike.
or some years to do this. So I'm halfway through my mapping career. So I'm going to be a little bit more brutal in what I will do from now on. And there are things I will lay aside, because there are things that I want to do, and I want to do them before I stop doing this. So I'm going to be now I've done it professionally for 10 years. I've started to figure out how this works. And I've also figured out what works for me and what doesn't work. So there will be some changes next year. And hopefully not everybody will love everything, but I think that you, the audience here, will love a lot of the priorities I will make, so to speak. And I will start talking about them on Friday a bit, and I will elaborate them on the blog post to my patrons and coming out on my website in next week, I think. So I'm working on it. And also the new machine can do some awesome stuff. So yeah.
Which is awesome.
So it's coming out. So we can, I talked 225 miles that I rendered before. I put my machine through an 18-hour test run to see what it can do. And yes, it can do some cool stuff. Yeah. I realized, what the heck, now I'm going to see what the limits are, and yeah, we can push the envelope quite a bit. So I did an 18-hour run on a $5,500 computer to see what could come out of it. And that was about 45 gigabyte of data coming out of it, or maybe a bit more, and stuff, and it's kind of awesome. So yeah. So we have some cool stuff. So yeah. So it's not fully textured yet. That will come fairly soon, because it's moving fast now from the beginning, and it's also going to be some really cool for the next stage of this project. It can be really, really cool. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to really getting cranking now that I don't have to worry about work. All I have to worry about is gaming and family for the next couple of weeks. So here's what's going on. Are you ready? Tomorrow night's adventure, Mike, homagely written, is named Horror Upon the Hill.
Okay.
So yes, an homage to Horror on the Hill, but yes, the adventure group Theo's Heroes. I don't even have the terrain set up yet, but I know the concept that I'm going to do, because I've been away in Texas for 3 days, and you got to get a lot of stuff one at a time. I'm getting one done, one set up, one prepped.
Wow.
Yes, and that's the way we're rolling right now through this whole week. It's just all I can physically
and
mentally
Jay,
handle.
you inspired me with your titles of adventures and stuff. So that's what inspired me to give titles to my adventures too.
Titles are memorable, right?
Exactly. It's awesome. Yep.
And that's kind of where I go. You try to make it so that every adventure group has a group name, and so it makes that connection. So this group, Theo's Heroes, is run by a jester, by the way. He's the leader of the group because no one wanted to step up, so he did. But it's a fun adventuring group, and it'll be a one shot. And I don't know, I may be missing some guys again because of soccer games and the weather. It's supposed to get really bad here. Was that storm goes through that everyone in the central U.S. is getting now? It's supposed to come through the East Coast. We'll see. All right. Next, that is Thursday. Friday night is the big one, right? And that's wrong here. Let me. The orders messed up. There we go. The holiday cheer episode of the Fantasy Mapping Show is Friday night. All right. We should have at least 12 giveaways this year. Okay. I have all the Frog God ones. Chuck, Chuck's always running late, but we'll get all that taken care of. And he's obscene. Yes. They all are obscene, Curtis. I know you're going to be watching, though, the 49ers game on Thursday night. I don't blame you. Okay. It's a great 49ers Seattle game is going to be a great game. So I know that, Bal. So
that's awesome.
We're going to have a lot of great stuff to discuss. We're going to have Steven Chenault and Edwin and I'm sorry, I forget Edwin's last name. I'm burnt. From Frog God, because Zach's out of the country, but we're going to have them on as well. It's our, holiday episode where we give out a bunch of stuff to the community and say thank you. And that'll be 8:00 on Friday night. So from Thursday, I need to get the terrain set up for this Saturday morning, and that's the wrong one too. Hold on. All right. The BattleTech. Hey, I know it's not D&D. It's sci-fi.
But we need to have you. I need to fix you a Photoshop template for BattleTech games that looks BattleTechy. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. We need to fix that. Yep.
So yes, we do in the background. So notice I took the Greyhawk map out in the background.
Yeah, but we need to fix. I need to give you I can do that while you're having with the game or something like that. I'll fix you a BattleTech template. Yep.
Cool, Curtis. I appreciate the lurk too. So note the following: first-time players to the campaign. Alyssa Faden's playing, and Jimmy Duffy from Predators Rejects is playing because they both want to get in on this. So, and then my son's playing, and Tim and his son are playing, and they'll be here in person just like last time. So we'll have a fun group. Balfrin, Rob Phantom, Canadian Ancient Gamer, Alex, I think I lose track of who's in it, but BattleTech's easy, so you can have as many people playing. So, yeah, thanks. So it's 9 a.m. Oh, and here, courtesy of Balfrin, and you want to go if you want to lurk for this, or if you're not interested, but courtesy of Balfrin, this is sealed. This is a full box set of the BattleTech beginner box. Is going to be the giveaway. All right, so something cool. All right, so we got a neat giveaway for it, and then we also have a Chaos Campaign Succession War scenario book as well. I might as well finally take these out of the box for Saturday. So, isn't it? It's cool. We got a lot of great things going on. Sunday night, I may change this. We may change it up from this. Part 9 has some really great stuff in it, Anna. But I may go with there's been so many cool things. If I can get the right feel to it. The spell one I can't prep in time. There's just no way I can get the customs. But the one on stats, on character statistics or something, or
we'll see.
Some development stuff. We'll see.
Yeah.
And if not, if I'm too burnt out, then we'll just go with part 9.
Oh, but this is a good one too. I love these because they give me so much good input for the future. So yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. But at least we know we have this coming up, and that's the 5 streams for this week coming up, and then we'll worry about next week there. Well, hero points cool down the. So hero points once again can be utilized. Remember, it's called Edge in BattleTech, and those are rerolls, and they save your butt. And a lot of characters start with Edge and extra Edge, but Edge is a huge thing in that game. Huge, Yep. All right. And that's what's going on for me and the whole crew here. And I've been looking to see who the heck to raid into, and all the D&D streams that are up, most of them are not playing D&D. They're just sitting there talking, or I don't. I'm like,
that's what we do. So they don't.
No, it's
play.
Not a talk show.
Gotcha.
They're sitting there talking, and it's like just doing not. You know what I mean? It's strange.
Okay.
So
well, that's cool.
let's do the giveaways. More coming this talk. I don't know if I can. Well, thanks. That's for tomorrow, Fuzz. Thank you. All right, that starts me off good.
I thought that Blue Box had covered the comeliness, enough comeliness talk for one day.
I'm not doing a comeliness discussion again. I mean, if we talk about all stats or something, maybe, but I'm not doing. I wanted to see if Tim's available. I want to do Dungeoneers and Wilderness Survival Guides. That's what I want to do.
Great books.
That's what I really want to do is delve into those 2 books. If I can get, but he's playing Saturday. I don't think he'll be available Sunday night. So, and I cannot do that without him. He's like the expert on both those, and he loves those books. So I just can't do it without him. So, all right. Last call. Exclamation point drawing to get in. Remember, we're doing 2 sets. And thank you for 2 hype trains tonight. One got through level 4, which is really, really fantastic for a Legends and Lore. No. Not. I'm not. I appreciate that, Mac, but no. I have plenty. I mean, I can just, if I'm going to raid into someone, I'll raid into Bones, who's playing some video, such a great supporter of the channel. I'm going to raid into Fabled 42, I think, because they're playing D&D and they got a good VTT up, and they're run by new management. Yeah, I like Dr. Faust too, but I think I'm going to raid into Fabled 42 tonight. Hey, Rich, winner. Rich, did you get in time? Oh, he got in at the last second. Baptized, you won. There you go.
Oh, awesome!
Congrats.
Congrats.
You really
Very,
put in some,
that was a great one.
And Gary Julian.
Oh,
he hasn't won in ages.
What? Is he still
Classic
on?
D&D reference.
Yeah. Yes. So, Baptized, I need your full name and address, and we got to talk and whisper on what 2 you want. And same thing with Gary. Gary, I'll get on Discord with you and talk to you about what ones you want. I mean, maybe take some. You know what? You probably don't have, Gary. You probably don't have these great sword and sorcery ones. I mean, you may want to go there just to change it up in something different there. Yeah, man, great. It's fantastic. So, we're gonna raid into Fable 42. Please sit by, hang out, and just say hello to them for a minute or 2. Thank you, Mystical. You have a great night. All right. And to everyone, I'll see you tomorrow night for Horror Upon the Hill. In the Lore Mills.
Thank you, everyone.
I have some new underlays too. You're going to see some brand new underlays for the table I got. So,
cool.
Right. Yep. See you once I get it set up, Anna. Once I get the table all set up. See you tomorrow night. Look at that, right at 10. You know what I'm doing after this? I'm crashing.
Oh yeah, you've been traveling all day.
I don't sleep well.
Days.
I don't sleep well on the road. Love to get over 75. Oh, look at that. 89, 92.
Oh,
95.
95.
Fantastic. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Say hello to them. I'll see you tomorrow night. Thanks.
96. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's really good numbers for Legends and Lore when we have no guests or anything. It's just us.